Once upon a time, a very, very long time ago, there was a ship. Oh, but this was not just any ship, my dear friends, this was the Titanic. Imagine the biggest, most wonderful ship you have ever seen in your dreams. Now make it even bigger and shinier and full of exciting things. That was the Titanic. It was like a giant floating palace ready to take people on a grand adventure across the big blue ocean. Everyone who saw it would say, "Wow, look at that amazing ship." It was truly a sight to behold, a real marvel of its time, built with so much care and looking so very proud. The Titanic was painted in beautiful, smart colors. It had tall, tall funnels like chimneys that reached up to the sky. From these funnels, puffs of smoke would come out, showing everyone that the ship was alive and ready to go. It had so many windows, hundreds and hundreds of them, all sparkling in the sunlight like little stars. Think of your biggest toy boat and then imagine it growing so big it could hold houses and parks inside. That's how massive and impressive the Titanic was. It stood tall and proud in the water, promising a journey unlike any other, a real adventure waiting to begin for all the lucky people who would travel on it. When the Titanic was ready for its first big journey, oh, the excitement was everywhere. People from all over came to see it. They clapped their hands and cheered very loudly. Little children pointed with wide, wondering eyes, their faces full of glee. It was like a big festival, a celebration for this magnificent new ship. The Titanic was like a superstar of the sea. Everyone wanted to talk about it, to see it, and to dream about sailing on it. It represented a new age of travel, a promise of comfort and style on the vast ocean, a true queen of the seas, starting her very first voyage. Imagine, just for a moment, what it would feel like to step onto this giant, beautiful ship. You would walk up a special ramp called a gangway, and suddenly, you are on board. What an amazing feeling that would be. It was the start of a fantastic adventure. A journey filled with new sights, new sounds, and so many new friends to make. The Titanic promised not just a trip across the water, but a truly magical experience. A story waiting to unfold with every wave it sailed over. Once you stepped inside the Titanic, it was like entering a whole new world. It was even more amazing than it looked from the outside, if you can believe that. There were big, beautiful rooms everywhere you looked, all decorated so nicely. Think of the most beautiful palace you have read about in a storybook. The Titanic was just like that, but it was floating on the sea. There were soft carpets to walk on and pretty lights that twinkled like stars, making everything look warm and welcoming. Every hallway seemed to lead to another wonderful discovery, making you want to explore more and more. One of the most famous parts of the Titanic was its grand staircase. Oh, it was so grand indeed. It was made of beautiful shiny wood, polished until it gleamed. There was a big round dome made of glass high above it, letting the sunshine pour in and making everything sparkle. And at the top of the staircase, there was a very special clock, with figures carved into it. It felt like you were walking in a king's castle or a queen's palace. Children would often peek at it, imagining fairy tales coming to life right there. It was a place where dreams seemed to dance in the light. Then there were the dining rooms, where everyone would gather to eat yummy food. These rooms were also very fancy and very big. Tables were set with shiny plates and sparkling glasses. So many delicious dishes were served, from tasty soups to sweet puddings. Everyone would dress in their nice clothes for dinner, and it felt like a special party every single evening. Imagine eating your favorite meal in such a splendid place, surrounded by happy chatter and lovely music playing softly in the background. It was a treat for the eyes as much as it was for the tummy, a truly delightful experience for all. And guess what? The Titanic even had its own swimming pool. Yes, a real swimming pool on a ship. Children could splash and play in the water even while they were sailing across the ocean. How super fun is that? There was also a gymnasium, a place with special equipment where grown-ups and even older children could exercise and play games. It was like having a sports club right there on the ship. The Titanic was designed to make sure everyone, young or old, had something enjoyable and exciting to do during the wonderful journey across the sea. Now, let's meet two little friends who were on this amazing Titanic adventure. Their names were Lily and Tom. Lily was a bright little girl with a cheerful smile and a lovely red ribbon tied in her hair. She loved to draw pictures of everything she saw. Tom was a curious boy, always ready for an adventure, and he carried his favorite little toy boat with him everywhere he went. They had both heard so many stories about the Grand Titanic, and they were so excited to finally be on board, ready to explore every nook and corner of this magnificent vessel. Their hearts were full of joy and anticipation for the fun ahead. Lily, with her sketchbook always in hand, wanted to draw the big funnels and the pretty waves. Tom, with his toy boat, hoped to find other children to play with and perhaps even pretend to be the captain of his own little ship on the vast deck of the Titanic. They held hands as they first walked onto the ship, their eyes wide with wonder at the sheer size and beauty of everything around them. "Wow, Tom," Lily whispered, "it's even bigger than in the pictures." Tom nodded, already spotting interesting things to investigate, his spirit of adventure igniting like a bright spark. Together, Lily and Tom decided they would be little explorers of the Titanic. They would peek into all the interesting rooms, very politely of course. They tiptoed down the long carpeted hallways, giggling softly as they discovered new things. They saw the library filled with so many books and the lounges where people sat and talked. They even found a special playroom just for children filled with toys and games. It was like a treasure hunt, with a new surprise waiting around every corner. Each discovery was met with happy gasps and plans for what to explore next on their exciting list. One of their favorite things to do was to go out onto the big, open decks of the ship. They would stand by the railing, feeling the fresh sea breeze on their faces and watching the waves dance alongside the Titanic. The ocean looked so big and so blue, stretching out as far as their eyes could see. Sometimes they would spot dolphins leaping out of the water, or seabirds flying high above. Lily would try to sketch the waves quickly, while Tom would sail his toy boat along the railing, imagining it was on its own grand sea voyage beside the mighty Titanic. Every single day on the Titanic was filled with fun and laughter for Lily, Tom, and all the other children on board. They played exciting games of hide and seek on the spacious decks, their happy shouts carried by the gentle sea wind. They would run around being careful not to bump into anyone, their faces beaming with joy. The ship was so big that there were always new places to discover, new secret spots for their games. The grown-ups would smile watching them play, remembering their own childhood fun. It was a time of pure, simple happiness, a floating playground of dreams. And oh, the treats they enjoyed. The chefs on the Titanic loved making special things for the children. There was delicious ice cream in many different flavors, and yummy cakes with sweet frosting. Sometimes there were little pastries and cookies served with warm milk, especially before bedtime. Lily and Tom thought the food was just like party food every single day. They would sit together, sharing their treats and talking about all the fun things they had done and all the new things they planned to do. These sweet moments made the journey even more memorable and delightful. Beyond the games and treats, one of the best parts of the journey was making new friends. Children from different places, speaking different languages sometimes, all came together on the Titanic. They would share their toys, teach each other new games, and tell stories about their homes and their dreams. Lily showed her drawings to a little girl from France, and Tom raced his toy boat with a boy from America. It didn't matter where they came from. On the Titanic, they were all friends, sharing a wonderful adventure. These friendships, formed on the high seas, were precious little treasures. The Titanic, for these children, was truly a ship of dreams and happiness. It was a place where they felt safe and joyful, exploring a new exciting world every day. They learned so much just by looking around, seeing new things and meeting new people. The journey on this grand ship was more than just a trip. It was a beautiful adventure, a chapter in their lives filled with wonder, discovery, and the pure, simple joy of being young and carefree on a magnificent voyage. It was an experience they would remember with smiles, a tale of fun on the big blue sea.